Greetings everyone and welcome. Today's video is for all of us out there that are trying to go outside of our comfort zone, trying to go for growth, make change out there in the environment, in the world, all those entrepreneurs, because what we're talking about today is the plan, the vision that we have to make that change, to go outside of our comfort zone. And you know, a lot of times with those plans, we spend a lot of time focusing in on the logistical aspects of the plan, you know, and of course they're important. You know, we have to know the type of business we want, the audience that we're looking to work with. You know, of course finances are always important to a certain degree. We have to have a roof over our head, food on the table. But a lot of the areas that we tend to overlook are those non-logistical aspects, the emotions, the feelings that we have, you know, mostly of everyday life, when we put them into conjunction with our plan. And you know, a lot of times we just see it as, you know, straight line, plan of success, you know, from A to B. But for all of us out there that are, you know, building things and you know, going outside of our comfort zone, we know it's not always like that. And so I want to help you increase your awareness of those non-logistical aspects. And so for an example, I'm going to talk about the relationships that I had in my life when I was starting, you know, my firefighter or paramedic path. Right before I got started in that, I was basically doing it right out of high school. And in high school, I had a lot of time to spend with my family and my friends because I didn't put a lot of energy and time into, you know, my schoolwork. I barely passed high school, and definitely nothing that I'm proud of. It's just, you know, it's facts. And so I also really embraced that role. I loved being there for my family and my friends, and just, like I said, just embraced it. And so when I got into EMT school, which was like the first stage of, you know, my training, I had to sacrifice a lot of time, mostly because I didn't really develop all of those study habits that I should have developed in high school. So it took me a lot of time. You know, I had to read the chapter 3 or 4 times, highlight it, then write out the highlighted info. I mean, just a lot of like mundane and, you know, a lot of reps to get the information to stick. But of course it was important to me. I was taking care of patients. This was, you know, an education that was directly affecting, you know, my future lifestyle. And so, you know, I definitely took it serious and sacrificed a ton of time. And I didn't really realize the full effect of it until one day I was going to, I think it was a family event at my parents' house. You know, I walk in the front door and everybody's kind of looking at me like, oh, look, he finally came out, and you know, who invited this guy? And you know, for me, it kind of affected me definitely more than it should have, especially in hindsight. But it affected me because I really embraced that role, and it was something that was important to me. And most importantly, I didn't take into account when I was thinking about my plan. You know, I just thought, okay, EMT school, time, energy, you know, clinicals, all this stuff. And I forgot about, you know, my relationships and really how it would start to affect me. And so after that day, I was just a little different for a little bit. It made me start to question like my plan, like how important all that energy that I had put into developing my friendships and my family and all these things, you know, it made me really start to question a lot. And instead of it just being like a little speed bump, which really it probably shouldn't have even been that, but it ended up becoming almost like a huge brick wall that I had to try to, you know, get through or climb over, whatever it was. And you know, I was acting like the sky was falling, and you know, it's a worst case scenario. But all of that transpired because I wasn't aware of the life aspect of my plan. And those are those non-logistical aspects. You know, maybe for you it's not your relationships. Maybe it's a financial aspect. You know, if you are in the financial world and your dream is to become a chef, and you transition into being like a bottom of the barrel, you know, chef, you know, line cook, whatever it may be, you know, you may be taking a huge financial pay cut. So now, instead of living downtown with a fancy car and, you know, all of that stuff, maybe you are, you know, renting with a roommate and driving, you know, something that is less desirable, to say the least. But, you know, those are those aspects that we should really start to consider also, you know, in conjunction with the logistical aspects, because for a lot of us, this is the area that can really affect our level of success, because we're so, you know, focused in on the logistical aspect. Very rarely is it the logistics. And a lot of times those are those things that we can really, you know, start to work through and, you know, bounce off of other, you know, mentors and, you know, people that are specialists in whatever field that you're in. But when it comes to ourselves and our emotions and our feelings toward the work that we're doing, we need to just increase our awareness. And most importantly, this is like the major point of this video, you have to be able to adapt to your situation. Adaptability is paramount if you want to be successful in any aspect of your life. You know, right now I work in a field that is not an entrepreneurial field. It's a field where I trade my time for money, and I have to be able to adapt. You know, I go from, you know, a car fire to a heart attack. You know, I have to be able to wear a fire hat and then take it off and put on a medical hat. So all of that is adaptability, and it applies to you and whatever plan it is that you're working on. And one of the best ways to increase our ability to adapt is to increase our awareness to the things that maybe we don't realize or are unforeseeable. And the best way to do that when, you know, attacking your plan or approaching your plan, I should say, is, let's say you're getting started. I want you to look at your life and how you live it right now and think about the sacrifices that you're gonna make. You know, maybe not as much time to go to the mall, go to the movies, spend time on social media, financial, like I said, relationships, all of those aspects of your life. Just think about them and how they may have to be cut and you may have to sacrifice, you know, to be successful. And the other thing that's important to the, you know, the awareness and the adaptability is not to think that you're exempt to this. Don't, you know, just because it's not happening to you or it hasn't happened yet, of course I don't want it to happen to you, but it's life and sometimes things do happen and it's better to be prepared for it. So don't think that you're exempt to it. A perfect example of this, I saw a video of Kobe Bryant, you know, obviously one of the best basketball players of all time. They were asking him about his championships and which one, you know, was his favorite and most meaningful to him. And what I thought that was cool was that he said that the championship against Boston was, you know, probably the most memorable and important to him. But what I found interesting about it is the reason why. And it was cool because, you know, he talked about the struggle, the fact that he had lost to that team, you know, just 2 years prior, and you know, he was having to do it basically, you know, a little bit later in his career without Shaquille O'Neal, without, you know, major help. And, you know, he just really talked about the struggle and the fact of, you know, the adaptability and just, you could tell the awareness that he put into that season, into that championship, and how it meant so much to him. And if you guys know Kobe Bryant or have done some research on him, I highly recommend it. His work ethic is second to none. He's a person that was absolutely prepared. He had teams, coaches, trainers, everyone in his corner to help him stay at the top of his game. And even he had to take time to himself, become aware of the situations, and you can see how much it meant to him in the end. Okay? So to end this video, one of my mentors used to always tell me this. He still tells me it today. He asked all the time, and I'm going to ask you, what are you willing to sacrifice today to change the rest of your life? And I'm pretty sure that's a quote from somewhere, you know, important. But he would always ask me that, and it's so true. You know, what are you going to sacrifice today to change the rest of your life? You know, it's a lot of times it's nothing huge. You don't need to give up, you know, everything, but it's just a small, continuous, persistent sacrifices day after day that will help you get to that level that you want to be, and a lot of times a lot further than that. So think about this question, add your comments in the, you know, comment section below. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know that you like this video with the thumbs up. Just hit it down below, and, you know, subscribe for this channel. We're just getting started. We have so much more to talk about. There's probably 10 other things just off the information in this video that we can build off of even further, and we're going to. So hit that subscribe button and come along for the ride. Until next time, guys, I am Jonathan, and I am signing out. Peace.